welcome everybody. Sorry, me having a little chit chat there. So, have you had a good week? Yes. Good, that's what we like. Well, thank you for coming back to us again. Today we have the lovely, amazing Effie with us doing our mediumship today. And if she's willing, I will ask if she could possibly do opening prayer for us.
Yes, of course we will.
Thank
you very much indeed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to be here. Be good enough to join me in the opening prayer. Divine, eternal Creator, highest spirits, guides, teachers, thank you for bringing each and every one of us safely to this thy sanctuary. We give thanks for all of those young people and all of the people who have worked in the National Health Service who have actually kept us going and keeping us safe. Likewise, all of the others in uniform, whether they be Army, Navy, or ambulance and police, they've all joined in to create a community looking after each other. And that's what we actually should be doing. That's what Spirit has been telling us we should be, that path we should be walking down. We give thanks for the animal kingdom, especially the wild animals and the magnificence and the movement. And fortunately, we are now beginning as human beings, beginning to realise that if we're not very careful, we will lose these animals unless we actually start to treat them better. Likewise, our own planet. Finally, we're beginning to look at climate change, but we should have been doing that 10, 15 years ago. We have not been listening to the children. They have been telling us for quite a number of years that things were not right. We give thanks for the pets that give such unconditional love to their owners. And I would ask, dear Lord, that when all of the leaders, when they all get together again to chat and talk, and rather than just simply chase the dollar or the pound, that they actually now begin to look after the humans who are on this earth plane. Because each one of our brothers and sisters are equally entitled to a roof over their heads, clothes on the back and food on the table. We, the wealthy nations, are more than capable of looking after them. And rather than their dialogue towards war and armaments. And that is all I would say, dear Lord, and leave this service in your hands. Amen.
Thank you. I've got our healing book here. Normally we would sing our healing prayer, but at the moment, obviously with COVID, we're being extra careful. So I'm going to read out the little prayer that we've got here and the names in the book. If you did want to add any names to the book, you can do it afterwards. That's not a problem. It will still get healing. Or alternatively, you can just think of the person as we go through. So I'm going to read the names out, and then what I'm going to need you to do is we're going to have a moment's silence. We'll have a little minute just to take a moment. And what I want you to do is just imagine, visualise everybody in this book and anyone that you know that needs a little bit of extra help, a little bit of extra love, a little bit of healing. Just imagine them surrounded by a beautiful white or blue light, anything that you associate with a happy, healing, healthy colour. Imagine them in a better place. Just focus that energy and just send it out to them and send lots and lots of lovely good thoughts, because we really want to raise the vibrations in here tonight of happiness, nice smiles and some nice energy going out. Great Spirit, we give thanks for the help and healing that we have received and for all that will come in the future, although we ask for special attention, healing, love and energy to be sent out to those in need, our animal kingdom and those mentioned below. In the healing list we've got Pammy, Spider, Luna, Tasha and family, Michael, Derry, Laura, Nora, Aaron and Nicola. So like I said, if you could just take a moment of silence just to have a little thought for these people and just imagine them in a better place and feeling happier, healthier and just having a better time. Okay, thank you all for that. That's brilliant. I've got a tiny little reading today. Unlike some people, I don't really deal in philosophy. I don't really deal in things like that because even though it might make sense to some people, it might not to others. And at the end of the day, we are a church where we are trying to reach out and allow people to realise that there is something beyond death. Once we lose our loved ones, they are not gone from us. They are always there with us. They like to come through. They give messages. They look after us just as much as they always do. And sometimes philosophy isn't what people need. What they need is a story, positive stories that they can relate to and that mean something to them, that they might be in the same situation that they're in. So, like I said, I tend to steer away from the philosophy and go more for real life stories that I feel are going to just bring a little comfort to some people. It's a very short one. There's a lady here called Sarah, and she said, "When my nan was ill with lung cancer, I didn't really know what was happening. I was a small child. I remember visiting her and that she was in bed all the time. Nan and I were very close, and the morning she died, I woke up and I just knew that she was going to die. It was as if she'd sent me a message. I was completely determined not to go to school that day because I knew what was going to happen to my nan. I was 6 years old. I remember my mum pushing me out of the door and telling me not to be so daft. I still recall sitting on the front doorstep and making sure that I missed my lift to school. When Mum opened the door and found me, she relented and let me stay off school for the day. I just wanted someone, particularly my mum, to believe me and believe what I was saying. An hour after finding me on the step, my mum received a phone call from her sister, my Aunt Phyllis, saying that my 69-year-old nan had passed away. What's more, one of my mum's other sisters, my Aunt Kath, had experienced her very own visit from Nan that night. The night before she died, Nana visited Aunt Kath in her sleep. Nana told her not to worry and that she was going to die, but that she wasn't to be scared. I think most people feel uncomfortable talking about this type of experience because they just don't understand it. But I'm so glad that Nan communicated with me because we were so close and it made it all okay. Ever since my childhood experiences, I've had no doubt that there's life after death. When people talk about ghosts and the afterlife, I know it's real, and all I can do is say thanks to my Nan." So it's just a little message. It's just a little thing because sometimes that's just a way of proving that we know and we are all connected on a level that we don't always understand, and that's the things that we try to make sure that we help you to see here. So have you got anything that you would like to either add to it or talk about or anything today? Just
do you want me to get up then? Am I on my feet now?
If you want to, you can stay sitting. I don't mind.
No,
you
I
can
can't
sit
do that
wherever you
because I
want
won't see
to.
everybody at the back. But it's what I said, the philosophy aspect in spiritualism and amongst the established, if you like, churches, it's very much to the fore. But what is simple, really, the minute you ask the question why for anything, that is the philosophy. That's what we're here for, is to understand why we're here, what we're doing, and why we're doing it, basically. And that is the basis of philosophy. That's all it is. Unfortunately, it's taken in some cases to a very academic level and loses most of us halfway through because it's suddenly they're talking about old Greeks and old Italians, all what they were thinking. But today, here, where we are, the reading that Willow has just done is equally good because you've listened to it. You'll either say, "Ooh, that's interesting," or "Oh, really? That's a bit sad, a grandmother died," or whatever. The point is, children, because they are children, they are so very young, they do retain a lot of the knowledge that they bring back from the spirit world once they have decided that they will return. And now we're talking about a completely different subject. So we must be careful that we don't frighten everybody. But when we talk about the spirit world, all we're actually talking about is another dimension. That's it, just another dimension. And for somebody like me, when I stand up to work, I move into that dimension so that those of my communicators and teachers and all the people around me in the world of spirit, they start to hang around to keep me bolstered, if you like, and make sure I've got the energy. And in the meantime, since each of all of you had thought about you coming this evening, you have given warning to that other dimension, that the family members that you have there, that this is where you're going to be. So if they're not too busy and they want to be here, and if I can pick them up, I will come to you with them. And that's how it basically works. It's incredibly simple. There's nothing. We're here on this earth plane to work out who we are and why we were here once we've realized who we are. And then we look at what the general conception, and most people still have this theme that something called God, a power called God, is sitting out in some sort of ether, waiting to hear you call out to them. But it's not that easy. I want you to rethink this. I want you to think of the power being within you, and you becoming in touch with that power. And when you have done so, one of the greatest mediums that we ever had on the earth plane, which was Jesus, you could do exactly the same things that he did, the walking on water and so forth. Now, I've tried the walking on water, but it doesn't work for me yet. So I obviously haven't learned enough yet. But the point is, it is this, the spirit world are now asking me and telling me more formally to start to bring to you the concept that the power, which is we've given for centuries, the term God, is actually within yourself. That is why we are made in the image of God. Each one has got the power. It's how you learn to develop the power. The fact that you may be tall, you may be short, you may be blonde, you may be darker, whatever, is simply the genetics of the way we run our population. That's it. They've told me that's enough. Get on with it.
Yep. We want nice, bright smiles, people, and like some nice, bouncy energy, don't we? We like
the energy.
lots of energy.
The
Yeah.
energy here, we can see it. And we have got the door open, so if it wants to wander out and come back in,
Yeah.
it can do. For those of you who have seen me before, worked before, there'll be no surprises, because my mediumship doesn't change a great deal. But for those of you who haven't seen me before, I have to tell you, I do not work psychically. I only work spiritually. I do not foretell or give any sort of future things, simply because it's against the law of the land as well as against the law of love. Right? All I would ask you to is to not think and focus down completely and utterly on the one person that you want to come through, because they are here, they're now watching, they're listening as to what's going on. They may very well decide, well, she's wearing black trousers tonight, so I'm not working with her. That's what can happen. There is also the thing about, they work with me on the vibration of love. If it's a mother love or a father love, that can be grandmother, it could be mother-in-law or grandfather or father-in-law. I've asked them time and again if they'd be good enough to refine it down, and they say no. It is the law, it is love, and that's all there is to it. Besides, I don't see bells above your head, I don't see glass, bulbs, bells, anything like that. I will just simply come to you, and when I do, I will ask who is with you, and then we will work for them. In so saying, may I come to you, madam?
Yes.
Good evening to you. I have a lady who suddenly walked in. She's not very tall, she's about my height, about 5'4", and she's coming on a very strong family. It's a strong mother link to you.
Yes.
Mother, is she in the world of spirit?
Yes.
And this woman had a tremendous amount of energy, did she not?
She did.
And she was always on the go. She had a very fine mind as well, she's telling me, because once they can settle back into the world of spirit, they lose all these shyness. They can actually talk freely, okay? And what she's coming through is to say hello to you and say, well done. Whatever it is you have achieved something just recently of which you're actually beginning to feel quite content with. Let's put it that way. Yes? She said, very well done. It's well within your remit and within your level of competence. And she will be around you from now on, for at least for a bit longer anyway. I'm also getting a tremendous sense of healing with this lady. Now, she probably was someone who people used to come and talk to.
She was.
And she would give very good advice. The fact that they didn't take it was entirely up to them. And this is why I get the sense of healing, because that's what was always behind what she gave to them. She just simply says, tell her to take my lap. Oh, you're wearing your hair down. Have you been playing around with putting it up in quite an exotic way over the last week or some time?
Yes.
Because she's been with you, but she does like it down. She's saying, take her love, which you will know. I've asked if there's any dates or names or anything like that, or she's simply called out. I can hear it's the month of July, which for you. It'll either be a birthday, a passing, or an anniversary. Take her love, thank you. May I come to the lady at the back, the lady who just took her hand up? May I come to you? Thank you, good evening to you. I have a gentleman who has come through. He stands, I would say, close to 6 foot, and he's coming through on a very strong family link to you this evening. He's coming in on the father link, but I sense I have got grandfather here.
Right.
Grandfather was a very straightforward man. He spoke his mind, but he was never directly rude.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells me that you are of a similar ilk. It comes down in those genes as well. I get the sense from this man, he was very strong on family and the provision for family. And he tells me that you are too. You will go to great lengths to make sure that whoever it is has asked for something in the family, that they receive it.
Yep.
Providing, and he tells me you do have the provisor, they actually will benefit by having whatever it is they're craving. He again is just suddenly coming through to say hello, it's nice to see you. He tells me though that you haven't been sleeping very well. It's been a bit irregular.
Yeah.
You have been too active when you're sleeping. So I rather from that point of view, you dream a lot. And that's what's keeping you from very deep sleep. Although he tells me that you're now beginning to analyze those dreams and they're becoming more interesting, are they not?
Yeah.
They're not trying to foretell what is to happen to you because they would not do that anyway. It is just letting you dig down as to what is actually behind the dream within what is going on within your life. Take his love. Know that he's with you. Your grandmother is also obviously in the world of spirit.
Yeah.
She just wants you to, she's just simply shown me a cup and saucer. She liked her tea, did she not?
Yeah.
And she said that the next time you have such a piece of luxury by having a china cup and saucer, talk to her. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to me. Bless you. May I come to the lady sitting at the back? There are 2 ladies, one with the lighter coloured hair. May I come to you, please?
Thank you.
Good evening to you.
Good evening.
I have a lady and a gentleman who have come through, and they're coming on a family link to you as well. Mother and father are both in the world of spirit,
Yes.
and they were a very united pair, were they not?
Yes.
Although they did, the lady tells me, they did have words every now and again.
Every day.
The father is saying he never had words, he just listened. But I have here the fact that that's what they want to bring through to you, is this sense of being united. I'm asking them why they should do that, and they told me to mind my own business. But basically it's the fact that because of the pandemic and the lockdown, for you have actually sensed the space around you, and you haven't been very comfortable with it. That's why they have come through, to let you know that they are with you at all times. You are inherently strong-willed within yourself. So there is nothing that really phases you except this sense of space. It is a question of just getting your head around it, they tell me. And they are there to help you to do that.
Thank you.
Did the lady have a habit of holding her hands a bit like this?
Yes.
Okay. I've asked her why she was doing that, and it is the expression of holding the world and the love in one's hands, and that's what she's bringing through to you. Take her love. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
May I come to the young lady in grey in front? May I come to you? I should have said you can all say no, of course. I'm getting the sense of a younger element coming through. Have you lost a friend? No. But this I have a sense of a young man who would have probably been in his 20s, around about 25 to 27. Okay, I'm asking him why he's come through. He's come through because all he's doing is bringing you energy. But since you don't know who he is, I'm asking who is with him. And there's a lady alongside him. And she's not very tall. She went into the world of spirit at quite an advanced age. She was quite frail before she passed over. I sense I have your grandmother here. Your grandmother is with this young man. He is known to your family. So you may have to ask if anybody can recognize him. She is here. She has come alongside him because he's just beginning to learn to do what he's now being taught to do. Okay? I've thanked him for coming and standing there, and I'm now talking to the lady. She wants to know why you're not doing the cooking. Everybody around you is laughing, so there must be something to do with that. Is she being funny with this one? Yes. Because she tells me that you do like to eat, and you do like chocolate. Yes, but why do you not actually do the cooking now? And I will just leave that with you with regards to your grandmother, because she was, again, another very organised lady, and she could make money. The old expression, she could make sixpence go a long way. You probably don't know what sixpence is, but she doesn't understand why we do not use this sort of money. So when next time you take your card out, perhaps you could tell your gran what you're going to do with it, instead of walking out of the shops, as far as she's concerned, with stuff which you haven't paid for. This is what they do. They want to know. They are there in the world of spirit. Their spirit is there. They have not changed a great deal. She's telling me she wasn't nosy while she was here, but she did like to know what was going on. If the lady next to you is nodding her head, said, have I got your mother with me? Yes. And I'm not being disrespectful, am I? This was very much her demeanour and her attitude, wasn't it? It's get on with life. Nothing's been given to you on a plate. You must earn it, you must work for it, and you must enjoy it. And it is a question of simply, she's come through for you, is to keep smiling. She said, because there is this thing within the women of the family, they can go into a dark place every now and again. And she said, don't do that. It's not in your best interest to do that. And at the moment, there seems to be a lot of, I'm getting the sense of confusion or disagreement around the family. And she said, if she'd have been here, somebody had got their ears boxed. But she's not here, but she's keeping a watching brief on it, because she says you are more than competent to deal with it. Individually, but together you become very strong when you unite the sort of stuff. He still hasn't told me who the young man is, but he would be known to the family, and I rather, as I said, he went over somewhere between 25 and 27, or 25 to 30, and he went very quickly. It was as if, we do not diagnose, we're not doctors, but it's as if he just went, okay? You'll find him, it will come, okay? If grandmother knows him, believe me, you know him, because she's saying that. I don't, but never mind. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to me. The month of April will mean something to you. Thank you very much. May I come to you, madam?
Yeah.
Good evening to you.
No.
I have a gentleman who's come through, but I don't think anyway. I'm looking at him, but I don't seem to, I can't visualize him as being very tall. He would be probably about 5'8" or thereabouts. But very strong, very muscular with it. He's telling me it wasn't fat, it was all muscle. And he's coming on a father figure as well.
Yeah.
You can accept this, good.
Yes.
Because this man is bringing you energy. He tells me that your energy levels have been almost hit rock bottom. He said you have felt as if you've been on some sort of helter-skelter. You've been coming rolling down, you've been climbing back and you've been coming rolling down. He tells me that you have been asking for help from the world of spirit, and they are sending you the said help that you've been asking for. but basically it will be on a level of calm. Once you begin to reflect as to what has been happening and what you would like to happen, you will then see the connection. This gentleman gives me the impression that he was always a very practical man as well, with common sense.
Yeah.
But very strong, he had very strong feelings and strong opinions as well. It wasn't a good idea to get into an argument with him unless you really knew what you were talking about, because he could wipe the floor, as he tells me. He could wipe the floor with you. He's talking about letter writing. He tells me he didn't do a lot of letter writing, but it seems to be something to do with you, with letters at the moment. It is a question of being precise in what you say and how you say. He is around you. You actually who have become aware of your father around you, he tells me. It's just every now and again you get that feeling. It's a feeling of love and it's a feeling of heat, and that's him. He's just here to support you through what has been a trying time. Thank you for speaking with me. I thank him for coming through. He's talking now suddenly at the last minute about a car, a blue-coloured car. And I asked him what's wrong with it. He said, nothing. I'm just mentioning it. So I'm giving that to you. Thank you very much indeed. Bless you. May I come to you, please? Good evening. It's a lady who's come through. And again, she's not a very tall lady, about my height, about 5'4.5". I like my half, so does she. And she's coming on a mother link to you. Mother was not at all well before she passed over. She went very frail. And she was not at all happy to continue to remain here on the earth plane. But she tells me no matter what she said or did, she didn't go until the last minute as far as she was concerned. But saying that, this lady had a tremendous sense of well-being around her, and that's what she brought through to other people. She could, and she was very, I'm getting the sense she was very mediumistic as well. She had the habit of being able to almost know exactly what somebody was going to say before they opened their mouths. She seemed to be able to read people very, very, very calmly, very straight. And that's what she's coming through, she's bringing through, is that knowledge. She said, because you have it. You don't take fools gladly either, do you? No. And you can, and you know when people are lying to you, because no matter what they do or how they do it, there's something that goes bing, they're lying, and that's all there is to it. She just wants to say hello. It's nice to see you. You're looking well, and that you have come through this terrible time very, very well, considering you were very uncomfortable with it. I sincerely hope God steady love for signs. Just take her love. And she's given me the month, actually this month, the month of September, which will mean something to you. Bless you. Thank you very much indeed. May I come to the lady sitting at the back with the blue jacket? Good evening to you, madam. A gentleman has come through. I don't sense he was a very tall man, but he was actually quite slender. But when he passed into the world of spirit at quite an advanced age, and he was more bent. He was more frail. He should have used his walking stick more often than he did, but he's coming through too on a family link to you. I sense I have a father figure here for you. Father-in-law, perhaps? No? No? Okay, so, but can you take the gentleman as I've described him? Not very tall, slender, and lived to quite an advanced age, but was bent before he passed. As long as you know who I've got, that's the main thing. Because what he wants to bring through to you is colour. He's giving you the colour red for empowerment. He tells me that things around you recently have been somewhat dire. You're fed up completely, and he wants to bring you through just simply the love to energize you. Okay? He tells me that you like music. and you listen to music, it gave you so much pleasure, but you haven't been doing that recently. And so he would ask you to reconsider it, because that's what you need to be able to do. You must be able to relax your frame, because there are times when you feel as if you're like a piece of elastic, you're being strung out. Take his love, know that he's with you, and that he brings you through, or he also brings you through a bouquet of flowers. I'm getting carnations, but it's really the smell of the flowers for you, because apparently you like the scent. So take his love. Thank you very much indeed. Bless you. May I come to the lady sitting at the back of the top, red top? Yes, may I come to you?
You may.
Thank you very much indeed. A lady is coming through. She stands taller than I do. And again, she's coming on a family link to you. I have a sense of like an aunt who has come through. Someone who gives the impression, or gave the impression while she was on the earth plane, as being very severe, very strict. And she's coming through on that sort of aunt type of feeling, love string for you.
Okay, thank you.
You may have just simply referred to her as an aunt. That's what I'm getting. I'm asking her why she's come through. She said because that you too have been feeling well below par.
Right.
And it's not just the epidemic or whatever, the lockdown. It is a question of you are going through a lot of your thoughts processes, and you have come to the conclusion that not that you were on the wrong lines or on the wrong path, but that other people have been distracting you. And it's time now she's giving me the impression of hangers on, if you can accept that.
I can.
They have to be set aside. It is required that you come into the full strength of who you are, because there is so much ahead of you that you intend to do. I've asked her what, but she's not telling me. That's none of my business anyway. But what the spirit world is saying, you have been asking for strength, and strength they have been giving you, because you are now completely on the plane of self-recognition and honesty with yourself.
Oh, lovely, thank you.
And that is going to stand you in very good stead for whatever it is that you intend now to start to deal with.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Also, the lady's given me the impression of healing.
Yes.
You have been asking for healing, not just for yourself, but some people around you. And I'm authorized to tell you that the healing is being sent through. Although there are one or two who, for whatever reason, their lifestyle is not conducive for the absorption of the healing.
Right, okay.
I've asked her, would she care to tell me more, but she said no.
Okay.
That's not what I'm here for. Right? As long as you know what she's talking about.
I do.
They're watching over you. I rather gather that you have almost turned another page in the book, and things are going to be very, very interesting.
Lovely.
Thank you very much indeed for speaking with me.
Thank you.
May I come to the gentleman sitting next
Yes.
to the two ladies? Good evening to you. I have a man who's come through. Is your father he's still here in the world?
Yes.
Grandfather?
One is gone.
One's gone. The one who's gone, would he have been about 5'10" mark?
Yes.
Yes. And again, a man who was very competent.
Yes.
Talking, did he have a shed? Because he's giving me the impression he had a shed.
Yes.
Good, he said, because that was where he could get away from the women. And he said that the demeanour of the men of the family is courtesy towards the women, but generally let me get on with what I want to do, if you can accept that. And from that point of view, he's simply coming through. You have been, he tells me that you've been working a lot on your computer.
Yes.
He has been fascinated with what you're doing, because not all of it do you actually know what you're doing.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, sir. I didn't know if I could say that. But he's totally fascinated by your thought process, whatever it is you're doing on the computer, right? It's as if you're opening up new ground. And he given me that as the illustration of the shed with a bit of an allotment, but generally there was stuff he did in the shed.
Yes.
And he's given, I know there is a chap who's just passed into the world for Sinclair, the inventor, and he's given me the impression that he had that sort of a mind, and so do you. So he's fascinated when he's around you, because you now have got the tools, but you also have the materials to do and achieve what it is you're going for. So just take his, I would like to say take his love, because that's what it is, but he wouldn't have said that. He, at his age, would, no, don't say that to a boy, young man. But his will, he is around you. And in actual fact, he tells me that sometimes you're also aware of the spirit world. You get the feeling that something has just passed you. You turn to look, and there's nothing there. But that's only spirit just testing to see if you are going to be prepared to listen to them. So take his regard, put love in there from me. Cheers. Thank you very much indeed. May I come to you, madam?
Yes.
Lady who's come through. I sense that she passed into the world of spirit in her late 80s. Very elderly and very frail before she passed. And she had also lost a lot of height. I don't sense she's coming in on this particular family link to you. I think she must be a friend who's coming. Okay, and I could get her age wrong, but she may not have been as old, but with respect to the lady that I have, she does look old. So her life must have been pretty heavy, pretty hard living. And I'm asking her why she's come through. And again, she's come through to remind you that a good idea is you slept well as well. And try not to think of all of the things that you're supposed to have done, to do, or questions before you try to go to sleep, because all you've done is switch the computer on, which is your brain, which means that you're going not to be sleeping deeply, you will be sleeping at a given level. Since you don't recognize who this lady is, I'm asking if there's someone else alongside her whom you would know. Your mother is in the world of spirit? Grandmother?
Yes.
Grandmother, the women in your family, you all look very alike, do you not?
Oh, yes.
Yes, this was very much a trademark of the family. Right, so the grandmother that I have knows this lady as well, but she lived after your grandmother had died. Okay, so she is around. In actual fact, what we've got here is two very strong women who've come through to bring you strength, to bring you, I'm going to use a funny old word, to bring you courage, but only you will know what they could possibly mean by that. Also, I'm getting the smell of paint with them now. Have you been considering decorating or?
Oh, it's ongoing.
It's ongoing. Well, then they're around you as well as this. They've also drawn my attention to what looks like a blind here, you're sitting alongside. But it's been put up and down. So I have to interpret that to mean that whatever it is that you have been doing, you have been getting the glimpses of what's to come. And by pulling it down, trying to settle back down. It sounds very complicated, but it's the blind is being used as a metaphor for how you think what you want to be doing as to what is reality at the moment. Okay. They also tell me you do quite a bit of reading as well. Grandmother and the elderly lady that's with her, they want to bring through to you healing as well. You have been asking for healing, and you're strong from that point of view, and healing is coming through to you. The time, and it's not for women, I have to be more careful, but it's not sort of a flush, but you do feel the heat every now and again, and that's when the healing is being surged through to you. Take their love with you. Thank you very much indeed. I asked if there is a date or a month that they would like, and they just simply gave me August.
Yes.
For sure. Thank you very much indeed. May I come to the lady sitting in the middle? May I come to you, please? Good evening to you. The lady that I have with me is obviously a member of your family because you look very like her.
No.
And is it mother that I had?
No.
Grandmother. and you would have had the same, she would have had the same sort of hair in her younger days as well. And she likes the fact that you have left it out because she's showing me the brushing action. And that brushing action, even if you imagine that brushing action on your hair, helps to relax you, does it not?
Yes, it
The lady that is here is also of a very strong, well, she's a very strong human being.
does.
And she had great capacity for love as well. That's all that she's just simply, she tells me that you are well aware of the world of spirit and that you know that she is around you. So she's just come in to say, hello, nice to see you. And unlike this phone here, but your phone has been ringing quite a bit just recently. And it's begun to get on your nerves, she tells me. So from that point of view, she is around you, as you are well aware of. So take her love. Thank you very much indeed for speaking with me.
Thank you.
Sir, may I come to you, please? Yes?
Yeah.
Good evening to you. I'm only hesitating because the lady who's coming towards me is doing so very gently. I don't sense that she was a particularly shy lady, but there was a reserve in her. And she's coming through on a very strong family link to you as well. Mother, is she gone into the world of spirits? So I've got grandmother there. It's this sense of reserve. As I said, she doesn't come across as being shy, but just reserve. And she tells me that is part of the DNA that has come down to you, because there are times when you like to sort of almost detach from what is going on around you, so that you can stand back and have a very good look at it, analyse it, and generally make up your mind as to whether you will tolerate it, she tells me. The word tolerate for you is very, very, very precise. And it is part of your mantra for your living as to whether you will tolerate stuff. The lady has come through. She's just a little bit concerned that you have been, again, you two have been taking your energy level to the extremes, and you get very, very tired, but you don't actually admit to it. And then you sort of will shrink into yourself while you try to grab enough space for you and enough time for you. She's just come through to say hello to you. She's not here to annoy you or upset you in any shape or form, but she is around you. And she tells me that from time to time, on a fairly regular basis, she does come into your thoughts. And for that, she thanks you. She's just talking about, and she's just showing me an old-fashioned cradle, a baby's cradle. I don't panic, ladies, whatever we do. She's just showing me that. Are you either a carpenter or was there a carpenter joiner in the family? No. Not that you know of. Right. So why is she showing me this? Because it's quite a decorative thing. It's not very big, and it stands about that height. I know it houses new babies sleep in it, new life sleeps. Maybe she's trying to get across a bit slowly. Have you been developing some new thought patterns? New idea that's been coming to you? Are you thinking of changing direction in some way?
Possibly.
Okay, that's maybe why she brought this through, because a baby is the beginning of new life, new everything. So she's just simply come through to say, well done, and then she'll be around you. Thank you very much indeed. The month of October will mean something to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
May I come to you, please?
Yes.
Good evening to you. Again, I have another lady who's come through. She's not a very tall lady. She would be again about my height, 5'4" now. But she's taken me immediately to my trousers, right? Insofar as that she would never have worn trousers. She would have always worn a skirt. It wasn't in her generation anyway to wear trousers, but she's not over keen on women wearing trousers. I believe I have your grandmother here. And I have a very strict lady I'm almost going to say a very strict religious lady. Insofar as that the wearing of trousers were just not good enough, right? And she would have, when she would have been going out and about on an occasion, her shoes, they would have matched the handbag and the gloves and everything else. She was very, very coming through as very precise. Not pernickety, but very precise.
I can't take this, my nan.
No, no grandmother.
My grandparents touched me up, so.
Alright, okay. This lady, what she's coming through, I'm asking her why she's coming through. She tells me that you have been developing, you have also been asking a lot of questions recently, and you have been developing your thought process.
Yes.
And you have now got to this, you're getting along the lines of where the word no comes in quite regularly, and I don't agree with that, and I'm not doing that. I do it my way, or I won't do it at all. And she's around you, backing you up on that. She says that you had that instinct all through your life. The circumstances didn't always allow you to voice it, but you are now reaching your own sense in what you want to do.
Yes.
And she is with you for that. She's coming in on a strong family link. She has to be, because she's been able to stay with you when you have been debating your subjects in your head.
Yes.
Okay? So she is one of your grandmothers, if you like. She tells me you also like perfume.
Yes.
You like the smell of perfume. And you wouldn't dislike the smell of sort of apple pie.
No, I like that smell.
Alright? So take her love, know that she's with you. The month of February has been called out.
Yes.
Not just because it's Valentine's month, but it's the month of February. Thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you.
Now comes the gentleman with the white shirt. Good evening to you. I have a gentleman who has come through, and again, he stands quite a tall man. When I have brothers who are all over 6 foot, so when he stands probably about 5'11", on probably your own height, more or less. And I've got a man of a similar build to you. He's coming through on a strong family link to you as well. My sense are I have an uncle here who's coming through, and I've got a man who is also a very, very competent man. He was competent. He could turn his hand to anything that he needed to do, simply because he said he would work it out. And he tells me that you are of a similar ilk. Once you have a problem in front of you, you know that you can deal with it. It is a question of you to apply your mind to it. There are certain skills you don't have, so then you will find out, or you will find someone who has the skill. He tells me that you are, and he's going to use the expression amender, right? You help to mend, and you help to mend people as well as things. You talk to people, and you listen to them talking to you. You hold your counsel most of the time, and you let them and you guide them to coming to a reasoned argument. He just has come through to say, well done. You are in the process of becoming more interested in spiritualism as well, and in mediumship as well. The guides and the young and the communicators that you've got around you at the moment are relatively young, but the older ones are coming through. You've already begun to sense this. You're beginning to, when you ask the question, you're beginning to hear the answers as well. Whether you can put it into practice is another matter, because sometimes it is just a question of time. Take his regard. He just simply said, I'm an uncle, and that's all there is to it. Thank you very much indeed. Bless you. May I come to you, madam? I didn't forget you, and there's one sitting there wondering if I'm going to come to him. I have the sense of a lady who was not very old when she passed into the world of spirit.
Okay.
Maybe someone maybe in the 50s.
Okay.
not very old at all. And I'm getting the sense from what she tells me that the feeling of those that she left behind was a great sense of loss.
Yes.
She's not actually telling me who she is at the moment, but I'm getting a tremendous sense of love and well-being
Yes.
for you. She wants you to know that she is well now, and she has answered quite a few of the questions that she couldn't answer while she was here on the earth plane.
Good.
And she's now, you are actually quite aware of this lady around you, are you not?
Yes.
And the questions that you're asking now, you're beginning to get the answers, if not directly from her, but when you think of how she was, or some of her lifestyle, is helping you put things together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, of course it does, because she's telling me.
Yeah.
I never argue with them in their world of spirit. It is this feeling, I'm getting the sense, the feeling of closeness. There is a tremendous sense of warmth and well-being being brought through to you. And also that you too must take a little bit more time for yourself.
Yeah.
It wouldn't do any harm if you ate slightly better as well, she tells me.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And not too much of the coffee.
Okay.
It's alright for keeping you awake, but it's not really doing you any other good.
Okay.
The lady just, you know who she is, but she's not telling me. But she just brings this, it's a very emotional, almost embalming love for you. And it will continue with you for some time now. You two are developing your spirituality as well. Are you also working as a medium?
I've done it my whole life.
You've done it your whole life. Fine. So I'm asking, why have they suddenly decided that you had to have another impetus, another push? Have you decided you wish to learn another skill?
Yeah.
Okay. They're not telling me what it is, but I'm getting the sense that it is an expansion of what you know.
Yeah.
Therefore, you must be physically fit for it. Yes.
Yes, very much so.
So take her love and it's not a warning from the word of spirit, but it's a reminder that your physical well-being is equally important. So take her love. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Yes, and may I come to the gentleman sitting at the end of the
Oh,
room.
thank you.
I get behind the table now, I get us out of its way. But thank you very much indeed for coming forward. There is a lady who has come through, and she's coming through on a very strong mother link to you. I have a lady who is not a very tall lady. She would have been just about my height. And she would have been, I was going to say she'd be slimmer than I am. She was very wiry, let's put it that way. And tremendous energy. You could almost, if you touched her when you passed, you would almost get a shock from her. She's coming through on a strong link to you. I sense I may have a mother link here. And what is coming through is this shock factor. Whatever it is that is going on around you, you have almost had a bit of a shock about what happened or what is developing. Let's put it that way. She's not telling you because, as you well know, they do not necessarily tell us why they're passing something through. It's really just for you to be aware that the spirit world in general is aware of what you're doing, and she in particular is keeping quite a beady eye on you, let's put it that way. It's a long time since I've seen you, but I can't remember whether you drive a motorbike or not, or you have done, but she's brought in a motorbike, right? And just like that one that went whoop up there. It's all very well going very, very fast, but one must also know what you've been going over as well. So she's taking that as well as your development. Sometimes it is required that you reflect on what you have already learned, so that you know what you're actually looking at now. Just take her love, and from the world of spirit, it's good evening, it's nice seeing you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you, that was amazing. Would you like to do closing prayer?
Yes.
Thank you.
You let me sit down.
I was going to stop you, but you was halfway down. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. If you will be good enough now to join me in closing prayer. Divine Eternal Creator, higher spirits, guides, teachers, and all of the loved ones, family and friends who came through to work with me this evening, I thank you for your time, your energy and your love, and would ask for one further favour, that each and everyone here travel safely to their homes and that their families are protected until such times as we should meet again. Amen. Now may I sit down?
Thank you.